Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome back to the Cathalon version 2. Now, the material cost is currently exceedingly low for one major reason. I still haven't added weapons. I've decided if the Cathalon is in battle, we have already lost. It is made out of wood, we have massive spaces on the inside, and ultimately it's highly explosive. If this thing is fighting, we may as well give up. So making sure it's heavily defended and out of the way of the main battles will always be our key. And of course, since it's so cheap because of the lack of weaponry and lack of metal, we can make several of these if one ever gets destroyed. In fact, it's so cheap I'm tempted to use this as a replacement for our current supply truck because it's even a little bit faster now. So what have I changed since the last episode? Well, first of all, we have this lovely hanging banner of corn. So nice and evil and rather just a little bit disturbing how it hangs there. That just looks completely dark and evil, and I would complain, but actually I'm rather happy about it. The front section has been completely reworked, so now it is our refinery. Very vulnerable, but once again, this vehicle is not for battling. We have all of our controls over here, so moving forwards, backwards, sideways, all that other good stuff is controlled by this seat, and this over here will be reworked again soon, because it's going to control the crane manually and override everything we've already got. The inside is now completely accessible from the top, which I'm really happy with, although the wheels do sadly clip through the sides, which I'm less happy with, and we have some hidden stuff on the inside, like a little bit more resource storage, some extra harvesters which are digging out this section here, and we even have some repair tentacles. Then we have this. So this is what happens when I get really bored whilst trying to build this, and I'm trying to think of what to do next. So rather than simply pause the game, I made this. Now this is literally untested. I haven't even flew it yet, so it will probably not work. But the idea is, this is a very, very cheap vehicle. It's around about 4,000 resource. It is completely RTG based, so it won't cost fuel, although the RTGs are the only expensive thing. The ammo is obviously not added correctly yet, and is incredibly vulnerable, and it is actually a bomber. I was going to do the cram cannon version of bombing, which is this here. If we go into cram cannons, we can use the bomb chute, but because that takes a lot more sorting out, I've just went with missiles, and we are using one magnet and one explosive. Not strong in the slightest. In fact, this is weaker than the Shrike's bombs, but against the enemies we're currently fighting, they may do decently. So I'm going to try and get this thing off the ground, and then we're going to finish it and start using it as a very cheap harassment and scouting vehicle, which will also aid us in combat a tiny, tiny little bit. Tiny. Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't used wings in a very long time. I haven't used tail controls in even longer, so let's turn on the extra mode. There we are, so we can see where our center of mass is, and we'll see where the center of lift is once we start moving.
Taking control.
Okay, come on, you can lift up. There you go. Tails are doing the correct thing, so are the wings. Everything is going according to plan. However, that is far, far too slow. We're also a bit more expensive than I thought we were, so clearly I've gone overboard with something. Honestly, the RTGs themselves are almost half of that cost, so I will be changing that for a regular engine. Is that water meant to be there? Wait, we have actual water. We have actual water. That's really weird. It's non-buggy and everything, but this does seem to be working, and that should mean the side thrusters can turn us. I was going to go with the regular turning, which of course is, if I can find the darn thing, the ailerons, but I would much rather go with jet turning just for this, because it means we can be incredibly stable. So it does work. Okay, let's pull all for now. So it goes at 27 meters per second. Yeah, we need a regular engine. Even if that means we're going to have to constantly refuel it, we need more power. Well, it turns out over here are the White Flyers, so we have found another faction. Here's a question, can I get over the water? Ooh, I can't. Well, that is something we've just learned. I can't get my tanks over that water. That's very cool, actually. And what are we fighting here? We are fighting a Sidewinder, which is going to load in the water, and a Sand Viper. Well, sure, why not? All I'm looking for is just to make sure the vehicle turns correctly. Most likely, it's going to just utterly be obliterated, but we can only find out by trying. And here we go. Okay, off we go to a good start. One of the enemies instantly detonating itself. Ooh, can they not? Oh, they can hit me. What a shame. Maybe making ourselves rock more would be better. Mine should be dropping now. That seems to be good, although perhaps I should have released them in a staggered fire. Not quite where I wanted them, but definitely close enough. Well done. You actually work. So, things of note. Still not fast enough, obviously. Also, maybe allowing some rocking would make the enemy a lot less accurate against us. Who are you trying to bomb now? I'm guessing this fellow? Bombs are coming down. Oh, and they've all locked onto this one, and down he goes as well. I feel like these would make really good distraction vehicles, and why did you allow those mines to drop? That was weird. The enemy are definitely out of range of both the arc, the angle I'm allowing, but also the range I'm allowing, so that was very, very odd indeed. And the last little bombardment. Well done. You actually won a fight. I can't believe it. You're going back now, and we're going to upgrade you to be a bit more useful. Maybe adding a secondary weapon. Okay, so this river is actually pretty darn huge, and it seems to cut us off from the main part of the Dustwind Gypsies' empire, and as such, we need to get over there. Now, the easiest way, and I am completely aware of this, is to simply put sub-vehicle spawners on our tiny little flyer, fly over there, and then spawn the tanks. It would be so simple, so easy, and as such, we're not going to do it. Instead, we are going to build a little harbour. This way, we can build tiny little warships to go up and down this river to patrol the area and to explore. I will very soon also be creating a satellite, but for now, I'm in the mood to build something a little bit different from what I've built in the past. So, let's get some of my lovely resource over to the shore, and let's build here where it's nice and flat.
Yes?
You guys, over here. Now, before anyone says it, yes, I am completely aware that we can simply swap the mode of our forces to get over the river, but to be perfectly honest, I'm doing this more for fun's sake than anything else, and to establish an outpost in case we are ever ferrying resource from one place to another. This is going to cost next to nothing, and it's just going to be a fun little build. Either way, I'm going to quickly go ahead and put my tanks over the other side of the water, as they are now apparently floating across. So I might have got a little bit carried away. I think that is the standard at the moment. So this is actually 3 separate buildings. The reason being, each of the buildings can only be a maximum of 2,000 volume, which is actually very small, especially when you're doing platforms. So we have the main building up here, which has our lovely little spinny radar and our prefab missile launcher with some ammunition stored here and underneath the main building. We then have this stretch of pier, which is another building with yet another prefab weapon. Now, the prefab weapons, although they are very tempting to use and you can make them very easily, I believe this is the one I'm using, or is it this one? That is indeed the one I'm using. They tend to be not the best. Of course, if they were really, really good, no one would ever make their own weapons, and then the whole point of the game would be a little bit worse. So, I do have 2 prefab weapons. The only reason why I've placed them is because of time. I don't want to spend all day on the docks, and I understand that there is probably quite a fair bit of footage just completely skipped, and most likely a button to skip the building footage somewhere on the screen. So here we are with the Lathrixian docks, which isn't finished yet. I don't have the roofing section done, and I don't have some more weaponry, in addition to the fact I have hardly any material storage. So a lot of work is still needed to make this the ultimate base. But for now, I am rather happy with it. So, with that, let's get to work upgrading our plane. I'll be right back. I'll skip the building footage. I'll be right back once the plane is done. And boy, does this need a lot of work. Well, this is taking a little bit longer than I originally wanted, so here's a bit of an update. So what I've decided to do is we are going to have this as pure alloy rather than wood. The reason being, it is half the weight, although it is 4 times the cost. It's now cheaper than regular metal, but it does have a lot more defense than wood as well. If we have a quick look-see, wood has an armor value of only 3 and a health of 120, whereas lightweight alloy has a health of 140 and an armor of 5. That doesn't seem like much, but the difference in armor value is actually really helpful against very, very weak attacks and against explosives. And since we are facing lots of very weak attacks, this should really save us quite a lot. Now, I'm not happy with the back section, so I've completely removed that, and I'm going to be changing it now. And then once we've done that, we can assess where our center of mass will be, and then we can put in the engines and replace all these thrusters, because at the moment they're kind of, well, they're breaking the laws of physics for the most part. Well, it's getting very close to being finished now, and we have the regular fuel engines now in place, which means it's far, far cheaper at only 3,560. The last few things we need is the tail segment, which I just can't figure out how to do, and some ammunition storage. Now, thankfully, the mines are very, very cheap, so 4, maybe 6 ammo barrels, somewhere between there, will probably be enough, unless I go with the ammo processors, which will take up material to create ammo, in which case I probably only need 1 along with a couple of processors, which would be far less explosive, which would be very nice, but also far more expensive. And I've just realised something. The reason the Dustwind Gypsies are not currently attacking us is because their economy has been crippled. We have taken 1 out of 2 of their resource zones, which means currently they are producing units at only half the regular speed, which means we are actually pretty darn safe right now, at least against that particular faction. Also, it seems like some of the others have been fighting each other. No one seems to have taken the Steel Empire's size, but they have lost some, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I'm not entirely happy with that, but that is what we're going to go with for now, because I'm kind of getting a little bit bored. So here we are with the Blood Ray Bomber, and this is the version 1. There will definitely be versions as we continue, since this is the prototype bomber, and I'm going to make a couple more of them and send them into a fight or two. Let's see if the bombers can start wreaking havoc on the gypsies. Here we go, the first test using the Blood Rays. Now, one thing I do want to say is that there's a good chance, a very, very good chance, that the missiles are simply going to miss, purely because we need to set them up correctly, and you can't really do that until you've seen them in combat and figured out if they're shooting too far ahead or too far back. Another thing is that I'm not sure allowing them to do a dive bomb is the correct thing, because right now they have a more default style setting to their AI, and I feel like it's going to be more of a hindrance than an actual benefit. So with that out of the way, here comes the test. This is more of a debugging test than an actual functionality test. So if they work, fantastic. If they don't, well, that looked very painful. We can figure out what to do next time. That would have been pretty good, because that was going after that bike. That area has been peppered with mines. And that one should get hit by a few of them. No, not quite. Yes, one of them hitting and almost taking it out. Honestly, they did more damage to each other than from our mines, but it worked. It definitely worked. What's left? That is the King Cobra, and why is it not firing at us? Not that I'm complaining, but why not? Honestly, I have no idea what's happened in that fight. It all happened so quickly I didn't see a thing, and I do apologise for that. Poor King Cobra. Oh, those two are going to crash. They are not yet set up to avoid each other, so little bit nervous about that. Oh, if we had regular missiles right now, we would have won, because we could just keep on shooting as we chase this thing down. Yeah, those mines would have been fine if the enemy was stationary, which is how you have to really set up bombs to be. So against fast targets like this, they're probably actually terrible. Yeah, those two are currently glitching out and hugging each other. Into space we go! Mummy, where do baby planes come from? Well, when a mummy plane and a daddy plane love each other very much. You heard nothing. Yeah, this is going to last forever. The target is actually as fast as us. If we were faster, this would already be over. Okay, jet engines, let's just do something silly. I don't really have the engine power for this, so that didn't really even help. Which one are we currently on board? Ah, of course I am. Get off this sodding thing! Well, this is gonna hurt me more than it hurts you. Oh, yes! Off! Go! There we are! Maybe if I just turn one of them off. There we go. You go off for a second, now turn back on. Get me close, I'm going to capture it. Oh, we did hit it one of the mines. Why is it not firing? It must have took some damage early on. Oh, no! All of my propulsion just stopped. Damn you, fake physics. Where is the enemy? Oh, hello. Yes, dive bomb it. Perfect. Oh, Lord. This is really, really disconcerting. Oh, and once again I'm going to lose my propulsion in a second. There we go. I'm only moving forwards quickly while I'm still attached to the vehicle. Also, ow, I just got mined. The enemy is about to go through a minefield according to the map. However, I believe those mines are currently despawning. Look, mines everywhere. How are you not getting hit? There they are. Yes. Yes, come on, activate. There we are. Few hits underneath. Oh, it's stopping. Where am I currently? Would it be easier to jump onto a flyer or to just waddle my way there? I think jump onto a flyer and jump backwards. Excuse me, Bomber. Can I please get... Bomber, Bomber, stop. Physics. See, that was much easier. Oh, it's moving again. This is going to take forever. Yes, hello! I'm putting you in reverse. Ooh, ooh, stop, stop. Even if you crash out the sky, do not mine. They're actually fairly accurate. It's just they're not good against moving targets. That's the problem. Okay, where is your AI, Mr. King Cobra? I'm going to guess in here. No, ooh, there's your little driver seat. That's cute. But where is your AI? Is it through here? Yes, it is. Okay, we found it. We found it. We're just going to go down. Through this handy-dandy hole. What? I just moved through the vehicle via osmosis. That is not how you're meant to move through vehicles. It's a victory! We win! They lose! Everyone's happy! Ow! And we have a King Cobra. So, verdict on the Blood Rays. Against slower targets, like the Onyx Watch, I feel like these are actually going to do pretty well, because they're so cheap as well. I don't mind losing one of these, since they only cost less than 5,000 resource. That's absolutely nothing, and if nothing else, they will provide a very good distraction. However, against the Dustwind Gypsies, is it the Dustwind? I keep on calling them the wrong name. The Dustwind Gypsies, I think regular missiles would be better, having a series of 5, maybe 6 swarm missiles, which they fire and then run away, then they come back fully reloaded and try again. They did the job, and the damage they can output is impressive. They're just wrong enemy type. Now, where is the Cobra going? Hello, Cobra. Today, enemies become friends. So, we now have our glorious King Cobra fully healed, fighting against a Sand Viper, a Sidewinder, and a Desert Boa, and of course we will be sending in the Blood Rays once more to see how they do. I am going to be on board the Cobra. Oh no. Okay, good, it didn't actually bug out. I thought it was going to, but apparently not. Oh yeah, the bombers are off, weren't they? That's not good. Oh, just don't get hit by the big shots and we'll be fine. If it wasn't moving, that would have hit. So in terms of accuracy, it's okay. I think the dive keeps on... Uh-oh, we are being hit by a lot, and... Nope. Come on, King Cobra, you can do it. Just keep moving. Oh, we've lost actually quite a bit. Our weapons are offline right now. Also need more ammo on these things. Once again, the missiles would be better. What's with those weird cram shells? They never hit the target. Also, me repairing this. Ooh, he's making it really unfair. They're firing a little bit too early as well. Oh no. Cobra. No, Cobra. Cobra. Bad. Bad. Cobra. Turn around. I actually have control of this. What am I doing? Back! You see, guys, the mines are effective. See, we killed this one with them. And this is why building in the sandbox is so much easier. I could have spent a good 20-30 minutes figuring out exactly how they're dropping their mines and making sure they drop them on the target directly. But at the moment, it's hard to tell. They seem to be dropping them a little bit early, and that's what I'm feeling is the main issue. But at the same time, I've seen them drop them a little bit late. And I think it's because of that dive. Depending on when in the dive they drop their bombs, depends how accurate it is. For instance, that was perfectly accurate. However, I've seen them miss just completely. Sustained by repairs. Hell yeah. Little baby vultures pick on their prey. That was a little bit late. That was pretty much spot on. So in terms of accuracy, with my guesswork, they seem to be pretty much on the money. They're all hitting, as long as the target is stationary. If it's moving, however, it's just not going to happen. So once again, against slower targets, yes. Against the Dustwind, no. No one saw that happen. I'm afraid, though, with that, I am all out of time for today's episode. In the next episode, I will have massively improved on the Blood Rays, hopefully making them decent bombers, but if I cannot make them to the level where they're constantly going to give us value, I will be changing them into what is essentially medium-range fighters with the addition of very short-range missiles. I've had a lot of fun in today's episode, even if it has been a very weird one, a lot more building than usual, a lot more experiments, and I do hope you have enjoyed. And if you have, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.